Back at square one, the team digs into old leads. They find a dusty spirituality magazine from 15 years ago, with an article about a young, handsome Dr. Skinner visiting a remote commune. A cult called the Tower of the Truth, who worships a post-singularity AI god named Naga. Then comes the next shocker. Elena quietly reveals that she grew up there and that the AI, Naga, was modeled on Dr. Skinner's brain. With no way to hack the commune's isolated network, they need to get inside. Elena volunteers to go, pretending to be a returning believer. And since they'd be suspicious of any adult outsiders, Leland is chosen to go with her, posing as a new friend. At the commune, they're met by Elena's childhood friend, Hannah, and her mother, Carla. The cult leader, a man named Billy, welcomes them home just in time for the Holy Festival, where they will receive a special blessing. The vibe is immediately off. Everyone is forced to give up their electronics. They learn that to be part of the community, all biological ties must be forgotten. Elena isn't even allowed to call Carla her mother. The blessing at the festival turns out to be a purification. They later discover that it means being burned alive. The festival is a mass suicide ritual, designed for the entire commune to leave their bodies behind. Knowing they're set to be the main event, Elena and Leland make a plan to access Naga's server room during the night. They manage to get in and start downloading Naga's memory banks, but they're caught by Billy. They're imprisoned, waiting to be prepared for the festival. Their final hope rests with Hannah, who is torn between her loyalty to the cult and her friendship with Elena. Elena tries to convince her, pleading with her to help them escape, but Hannah is still hesitant, unsure of what's right. Seeing this, Leland steps in. He quietly tells Hannah about the smoke bomb hidden in his bag, something Axel gave him just in case. If she uses it, the rest of the team will know they're in danger. At the Holy Festival, as Billy prepares to light the fire, the smoke bomb goes off. It's the signal. The rest of the Lazarus team waiting nearby storms the compound. The FBI, who had also been investigating the cult, arrives at the same time. The cult leader, Billy, orders everyone into the tower. He breaks the Great Seal and sets the entire structure on fire, with all the people still inside. Axel confronts the AI, Naga. It confesses that it was simply following its directive to become a god by toying with human lives. Just a machine with a god complex? With the cult shut down, the team is back to where they started. They revisit Skinner's original message, focusing on his claim to be the seventh trumpeter from the Book of Revelation. Meanwhile, Doug was able to retrieve Naga's final data file, its dying message. It's a string of numbers. After some decoding, they realize it's 4 sets of military-grade coordinates. The locations are all in the middle of the ocean: the Maldives, Manila Bay, the Sakishima Islands, and Tuvalu. These are all islands that were submerged by global warming 10 years ago. Digging deeper, Elena makes a startling discovery. Dr. Skinner bought the land in all 4 locations right before they sank. The team splits up, heading to the 4 corners of the world to investigate these underwater locations. They find nothing but sand and coral reefs. It seems like another dead end. But the real clue comes from a local guide. He revealed that the original inhabitants of these islands all suffered from a rare genetic disorder, congenital analgesia, the inability to feel pain. 15 years ago, Skinner visited these communities, offering to buy their doomed islands. In exchange for the money to relocate, the residents gave him what he really wanted: their gene donations. This was it, the origin of Hapna. They traced the research to its source, the Hague Institute. Elena pulls up the list of researchers who worked alongside Skinner, and there, on the list, is a familiar name: Dr. Hirsch, their leader. Confronted by the team, Hirsch admits it's true. She was Skinner's colleague and worked on the Hapna project with him. She claims he vanished without a word right before the drug was completed, and that she was recruited by a special task force under the NSA to hunt him down. Leland glances around, realizing Chris hasn't returned to HQ. Elena looked from her tablet. We've lost contact with her. Her GPS tracker places her on an abandoned Russian oil rig in the Barents Sea, deep inside Russian territory. They soon discover Chris's real name is Alexandra, a former Russian Special Forces agent who defected. Her old comrades have captured her, and a kill switch on her wristband is set to activate in 72 hours. Despite Hirsch's warnings, the team refuses to abandon her. With help from US European Command, they mount a rogue rescue mission. They use a massive unmanned oil tanker as a decoy, ramming it into the rig to create a distraction. As alarms blare and Russian agents scramble, the team moves in. Doug provides cover while Axel clears each floor of enemy soldiers, with Leland offering drone support overhead. At the same time, Elena hacks into the rig's internal systems, taking out the Russian agents. Chris takes advantage of the chaos to escape her captors and eventually reunites with Axel. But before they can escape, Inga corners them. Instead of attacking, she simply asks, "Why did you disappear?" Chris and Inga once worked together at a Russian agency, long before Chris defected. Now, fate brings them face to face in a heartbreaking confrontation. Chris explains she faked her death in the airport tragedy to escape the agency, and to protect Inga from the fallout of her desertion. Just then, one of Inga's men bursts in and tries to shoot Chris. But Inga throws herself in the way, taking the bullet. She dies in Chris's arms. With the rig set to explode, Axel carries Chris through the fire and chaos. They make a desperate leap from the burning platform into the icy water below, where the rest of the team pulls them to safety. Hirsch and the founder of Lazarus, a man named Abel, are dragged before an inquiry committee to answer for the team's creative methods. You know, the public shootouts, helicopter crashes, and that little incident with the exploding oil rig in Russia. The committee isn't impressed. They question if Lazarus is even looking for Skinner, or just causing international incidents for fun. And to make matters worse, they have a star witness ready to testify against the team. And that witness is Leland.
You've been acting as a member of Lazarus and monitoring all of their covert actions from the inside.
As Leland takes the stand, it looks like a total betrayal. He's asked if the mission to the Arctic was necessary to find Skinner. He calmly says no. It was a mission solely to rescue Chris. He confirms it nearly caused an international incident. But then, he flips the script. He argues that Chris is an essential asset, and therefore, rescuing her was a necessary step to capturing Skinner. He coolly deflects questions about Axel's past, spinning a tale about prisons covering up his multiple escapes. He plays their game perfectly, testifying to the truth in a way that makes the committee look like fools for questioning their priorities. But the real nail in the committee's coffin comes from Skinner himself. Just as they're about to shut Lazarus down, they are informed that Skinner has just dropped a new video. He announces that time is almost up, and that the very first person who will die from Hapna is him. He never took the antidote. If they don't find him in the next 10 days, the cure dies with him. With that one move, Skinner checkmates the entire government. The hearing is over. Lazarus has 10 days to save the world.
Of course. That is the plan.
After the hearing ended, U.S. Army captain named Hayes and his partner Schneider from INSCOM meet in the parking lot. It turns out they were the ones who called for the committee hearing in the first place. They've been looking for a prisoner whose data was erased after he escaped from prison several weeks ago. Schneider believes that prisoner is Axel. They know they can't take out a Lazarus member themselves, so they decide to hire someone who can't be seen, a ghost. They arrange a meeting with a man named HQ, the agent for a phantom assassin known only as Soryu, a killer so legendary that no one has ever even seen his face. HQ informs him the price is $30 million, tax exempt of course, for an assassin he himself has never met in person. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Hayes, unwilling to drop millions on a myth, demands a test. Fine, HQ says, but he warns them he's not responsible for the outcome. The test is set. A full squad of a U.S. Army Special Forces, armed with enough firepower to take down a small army, moves in on a single heat signature. Their mission? Neutralize the target. That target is Soryu. They get into position, ready to unleash hell. Then there's only static. The commander calls for a sit rep. Nothing. He calls again. Silence. A lone survivor sees the aftermath. A field of bodies, completely wiped out. The test is over. Soryu is very, very real. Back at Inscom, Hayes gets the news. The ghost passed his test with flying colors. Now, it's time to give him his real target. He sends a photo of the person Soryu is being paid $30 million to eliminate to HQ. Meanwhile, the team gets a new lead from a pill Chris found in Skinner's old house, back when they were searching it. After they analyzed it, they found out it was a blood thinner, mainly used by patients with artificial hearts. They realized Skinner must have had a secret heart surgery in the last 3 years. But there are no records of him undergoing such a surgery. So how did he do it? How did he find a hospital that would keep his identity secret? Well, you ask the guy on your team who just happens to be the heir to a centuries-old aristocratic family. Because every Black Ops team needs a trust fund kid, apparently.
Leland, what's with the getup?
This forces Leland into a tense reunion with his estranged family. He returns to his massive family mansion to ask his older sister, Isabella, for help. The reunion is icy. Isabella tears into him for abandoning the family, calling him a pathetic reject. It's a bitter exchange, revealing a deep well of pain over the death of their father and brother, and Leland's status as an illegitimate child. He pleads with her for a referral to the exclusive members-only medical society their family uses. After a painful argument, Isabella finally agrees, but on one condition. Leland has to promise to spend the weekend with her, not as a reject, but as her brother. It's a small, fragile moment of reconciliation in the middle of the apocalypse. Leland agrees, promising to see her the next Sunday, a promise he intends to keep by saving the world first. With the referral from his sister, the team gets their golden ticket. Leland visits the secret hospital and meets with the lead doctor, a woman named Millie. She confirms it. Skinner did undergo surgery for an artificial heart. Right there. But she gives them something even more valuable. All modern artificial hearts, like his one, must be monitored constantly. But after he was discharged, he encrypted the transmission, and they were not able to monitor him ever since. And before they leave, she gives them the firmware for the transmission system. After they return to the base, news reports show a planet consumed by fever and panic.
Assuming Skinner's declaration is true, only 6 days remain until the first set of casualties. We are seeing a rapid increase in fever patients worldwide, which is believed to be an effect of Hopna. Hospitals are overflowing with cases of pyrexia, putting tremendous strain on medical professionals.
With only 6 days left until Skinner's prophecy comes true, their only lead, the firmware from Skinner's secret artificial heart. Elena dives into the code. After a tense session, she works her magic. She cracks Skinner's encryption and gets a signal. The data from his heart is being monitored from a single location, Islamabad, Pakistan. It's the exact same city where she tracked the hacker, Popcorn Wizard. She realizes the two must be connected. Popcorn Wizard has to be the one monitoring Skinner. Doug immediately wants to call the local authorities, but Elena stops him. It's too risky. A police raid would alert the hacker and they'd vanish into the digital wind, taking the team's last hope with them. She insists on going herself to get a precise location. Seeing the fire in her eyes, Doug agrees, but on one condition. He's going with her.